All right, folks, thank you so much for joining me here. We're looking at December 19th, 2023. Full response coming in, Stephen Nerayoff and John Deaton. God bless them. They never had an official opinion that they actually followed through with. They had an opinion. They were supposed to sell off and distribute all this Ethereum. They only sold and got rid of about half of what they were supposed to. Stephen Nerayoff suggesting that the MakerDAO hack was an inside job. And the SEC, of course, claiming that they had no part, even though they had collected all sorts of evidence in regards to Stephen Nerayoff and his case. Now, he's trying to defend himself. Part of that is just so happens to be exposing Ethereum. Full breakdown reaction video coming in here tonight. I'm going to share this one out real quick, and then we're going to get rocking and rolling. I appreciate everyone for stopping by here today. So we're looking at this market right now. We're going to get right on into that, talk about the current events. Just going to share this one out real quick, and then we will start. Appreciate you guys. You know, everything's at my website, zachrector.com. Community resources, our private group, it's all there. We are live now, sending it out on X, a little tweet, a little share. Appreciate you guys who share the content, who smash the thumbs up, and who join us every day as we just, make sure that we're taking advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history while we try to save our country. That's what we're trying to do here, is we're trying to save our country. We want a similar opportunity for the people across the world. The damages that have been done to us collectively together is massive. And so that's what we have to uncover with an allegiance to the truth. That's what we stand for. Not left, not right, not up, down, I believe for this, or I'm going to be offended by your opinion or what you believe. I just have an allegiance to the truth. Whatever facts get uncovered, whatever we have to do to expose that truth, that is what I stand behind as an American and as someone who wants the best for humanity. Now, unfortunately, because we can't get our act together here in the United States, you're seeing we're holding back humanity. I've been saying this the whole time. It's not a matter of being, corrupt to the point of making a little extra money, which is what we're exposing with the Ethereum free pass. It's a matter of holding back the United States of America and destroying our capital markets hand in hand with Gary Gensler and the gang, with Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman and everyone that we've put together in this whole thing. They're the ones working with Joseph Lubin and Vitalik. How guilty is Vitalik? Let all truth be revealed. He's a smart little developer who was able to, build out this code for them, but obviously a much larger gang behind him. And we call it the Ethereum free pass. We call him good guy Gary Gensler because at the end, we know that he's going to come out and say that he protected us. We're going to uncover the politicians that have already sided with Elizabeth Warren and her crypto bill. See, the politicians get right in line when it's time to protect the bankers, when it's time to protect the elite. You guys know that deal. So we got a full session coming in here tonight. I know this one's going to take me a while, but I want to go through it as fast and as efficient as possible. I appreciate you guys for stopping by and all the love, all the support. It does really mean the world to me. I have nothing to say other than everything's at my website, zachrector.com. Without further ado, let's get right on into it. Markets first, current events next, and then we go into the Stephen Nerayoff, John Deaton interview. The Dow climbs to a fifth straight record close as rate cut hopes underpin sentiment. So the Dow Jones is just printing new all-time highs, fifth straight. U.S. stocks closed higher on Tuesday with the Dow Jones notching a fifth straight record close, and the S&P 500 closing just shy of its peak as investors keep cheering the chances of Federal Reserve rate cuts. And we've been calling it out. It is a whole lot of cheerleading going on. Daddy pal, please take it easy on us. And an economy that keeps chugging along, or so they say with their manipulated data. The Dow Jones was up 251 points, or 0.7%, to close at 37,557. I got to say, it just amazes me every time how it's, printing new candles, making big moves when it's 1% in the stock market. When in crypto, if we're not talking about a 10 to 20% move, it's like, we don't even need to have a conversation. We're just chopping sideways. So that's always funny. But it's the fifth straight record close, according to the Dow Jones market data. The last time the index had a record straight this long was 5 days ending in August 16th, 2021. Unprecedented times. The simulation events really got the party started and took it to a whole nother level. when we opened up Powell's Pandora's box in 2020. The S&P 500 finished up 27 points or 0.6% at 4,768. It is off 0.6 from its record close of 4,796 on January 3rd, 2022. So the S&P hit that all-time high shortly thereafter that Dow Jones did. Now we have Dow Jones back up, and many people suggesting that the S&P is set to go break a new all-time high very, very close. The NASDAQ composite ended up 98 points or 0.7% at 15,000, and there you go. Now, we're going to look back on this, and I can play this clip a few years down the road, and this is going to play just like the same clips that, we play from 2006, 2007, where even after the Fed did the first cut, the market then went and set a new all-time high. And then it rolled over and it collapsed all through the next year. And the Fed had to keep rates at 0% for years. And even keeping it at years, we still went through the great financial crisis, one of the longest recessions that we've had in modern times. Now, I'm looking at another V-shaped recovery coming in after we get a market correction. Excuse comes in through Black Swan event, Black Swan sacrifice. And we have dozens that are already kind of underway. We're going to talk about that here in the next article. So we take a look at, before I move on, you get the point, you get where we're at though. This is nothing new under the sun. The Fed has set this whole thing up. The elite are not here to be your friend. They are here to sacrifice Main Street, just so we're clear. Just so everybody's on the same page. They're not your friend. They're here to sacrifice Main Street. This is part of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history, but I've always repeated that you got to make sure that you got on the right side of this transfer. Not everybody's going to be on the receiving end of this transfer of wealth because they're not tapped in. They're not, they have no clue. No clue. And we have that in the data with almost half of America not even looking at their 401k, let alone actually understanding it to a point where you can take advantage of this opportunity. Markets up, everybody's having a good time because we think, the metaphor is we were having a great party. We ran out of liquor. Jerome Powell is making a run to the store to grab us more. We all think that Jerome Powell is going to come back and take it easy on us and we're going to have fun because he's going to refill us. The DJ is going to fire it back up and this party's going to keep on going. It's not how this plays out. Never has, and we can't see that change coming up this time around either. What that means is that you have to protect your assets. You have to prepare yourself for 10 days of darkness or the next simulation event that they got coming our way. We're about to cover the what I'm talking about, one of the situations here next. Take a look at it. We're looking at this one from the Wall Street Journal. U.S. leads bid to secure Red Sea, but shipping firms remain on edge. So while markets are having a great time, we forget that we're still at World War III and that this is accelerating. Now the United States is leading the bid to secure the Red Sea with, I think, about another 10 countries, and we got the destroyers coming in. Hours after the U.S. announced a multinational task force to protect commercial traffic through the Red Sea. Folks, if this goes down, and it already has started because we have shipping giant A.P. Moller Maersk said it would send its vessels around the Cape of Good Hope in southern Africa instead. They've already rerouted, which, yes, you can still maybe fulfill that supply, and maybe we won't have as bad of a supply chain crisis, but that is a more expensive route, and that is going to lead to more inflation. Any sort of hiccup, any sort of stalling, any sort of blockage of these shipping routes leads back to inflation and or supply chain crisis. Maybe both. So that's our setup right now, and the markets are completely oblivious to this. This, once again, is just one black swan scenario already underway. The message was clear. Shipping firms, oil companies, and insurers remain jittery about a possible snarl to one of the world's most crucial trade routes. Attacks on merchant vessels by Houthi rebels forces in Yemen, a militia group backed by Iran, continued this week, including 2 on Monday. The attacks have mostly taken place near the southern end of the Red Sea called Bab el-Mandab, or the Gate of Tears. The rising threat has prompted many of the world's biggest shipping companies to find alternative routes. Now, we've already seen actually, let me go take a look at this because I think that we've already seen our oil go back up. We have. Yeah, that's right. It's back up to $80 here. This is the UK Brent crude oil too, by the way. Already back up to $80. Are we starting to get a little jittery out there? Now, Bitcoin trended sideways today. Basically, we did another quick bounce. That was Sunday night into Monday morning. Bitcoin going down here. Bitcoin going down here to 40,500. Okay, so a quick back test of this level. Healthy consolidation taking place right now. We bounce back up to 43,500. So a bounce of 3,000 there in one day. Pretty incredible to see. Bitcoin just remaining incredibly strong. Ethereum remaining pretty strong as well. Healthy back test to kind of build some structure is what we needed to do. For XRP bouncing off that 57, just below 58 cent level. That 58 cent level is one that we've bounced off here of a few times. And it's actually helping us build a little bit of support. XRP in really bullish posture still. XLM down to 12 cents. Okay. And our DXY was back down, and that led to silver and gold both back up here today. Back above $24 per silver, 2,040 for gold. Started the day with massive green candles for both. Now, Nvidia back tested here off after reaching up to $500. That was on Monday, yesterday. Okay. S&P 500 still pushing, as we said, to close at 4,700, 4,768, with a Dow Jones printing a record fifth straight record close. All-time highs for Dow, S&P right behind. Everybody's having a good time. XDC consolidating here below 5 cents. Okay. I believe that was all that I wanted to cover here. Amazon did a little bit of a bounce here this Monday. Yeah, over the weekend, and then or that was to end last week and to begin this week. Once again, these markets do not trade over the weekend. They are not 24/7 like our crypto. So Amazon, a little bit of a bounce, and so we'll continue to watch that. The point that I wanted to make is we have blinders on for the bulls. Everybody's having a good time. But when you look at the real situation, we are far from a soft landing being achieved with a record amount of homelessness. I could list off a bunch of other data points. I'm just going to list off this other one here tonight from Kobesi Letter. 40% of all student loan holders failed to make payments when they resumed in October. So that is almost half of the student loan payments not coming in. This means that 8.8 million out of the 22 million borrowers missed student loan payments. Remember, this is one of the United States government's biggest assets on our balance sheet that Biden wants to forgive. He wants to make everybody love him and, save that legacy. And he wants to forgive it all, or at least a large portion of it. Okay. But the problem is there's already folks that are opting out just off of his narrative. And the problem is that we're already broke and bust, and that when we don't collect these payments, when the tax payments fall out, we run even larger deficits. Currently, we have a record 1.6 trillion of outstanding student loans. As I stated, this is one of the United States government's biggest assets. And this is the total. This probably doesn't include just government. This is total. The average payment is $500 a month and comes at a time with record low levels of affordability. Borrowers are feeling the pain. In fact, these are actually some of the more predatory loans, borderline predatory, depending on how you look at it. And the setup is, you go in, you get strapped with debt, and now you're entering a recession. You're entering a jobs market where most are getting replaced by AI or robotics, and a shift underway where if you can't adapt, if you can't be flexible to this new economy, it's going to be a struggle here. With now, we've seen an influx of workers, and the population here, I got to be careful with what I say. You're seeing what's taking place in this country, and our country is getting completely flipped upside down as we speak, as excuse me, as the headline title of the mainstream stories, what the mainstream's covering here tonight, we see this one. My apologies. This is breaking the news here tonight. We have the Colorado Supreme Court ruling that Trump is disqualified from holding office, citing Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, removing him from the state's 2024 ballot. So now we have it. Okay, this is an official ruling, just came out here today. I didn't even know that they were hearing this. I mean, I don't know where this case came from. But once again, it just reiterates that there's a real battle on the legal. The legal battlefield is no joke. Peter Schiff chimes in here. He says the 14th Amendment applied to former federal officials who engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the U.S. during the Civil War. The events at the Capitol don't qualify. Trump would have lost Colorado anyway. This just makes him more likely to win swing states instead. So this is a shakeup in our country. Internal chaos that's all part of a falling empire. And that's the point that I want to bring home. I'm not here to pick left, right, wait for somebody to save me, wait for a president to save me. We're going to show you, the politicians that we got siding with Elizabeth Warren. They definitely aren't coming to save us or give us any sort of level playing field for digital assets. All they're worried about is saving the incumbents. And it's incredible that we've gotten to the point in our country where it's shut you down instead of let you speak, let you be heard, and just have more powerful ideas and facts on your side and winning through the legal way, winning through the people voting. And this is where we don't just need to be voting on who's going to be our president. We need to be voting with our dollars. We need to be voting for which money we're going to use. This is why I say you give the people decentralized social media, decentralized currency, and a decentralized and a verified voting system, potentially could use blockchain. If you gave the people those three things, you would free them effectively. You would have free people if we had decentralized media, currency, and voting. If we could actually have that. That's what we want to use this technology for. That's why, we are interested and we vote with sound money. This is why I save a portion of my savings goes to silver. So, Elizabeth Warren wants KYC on everybody. We're about to show you she's not alone. She's got a bunch of other sellouts that are getting in line behind her. The next thing you know, we're going to be KYCing at farmers markets. The next thing you know, you won't even be able to barter with your vegetables for your neighbor's meat. Meat might be illegal. Maybe we won't be able to eat meat. How far does this go? Right? Our country, internal chaos, flipped upside down. We've entered an election cycle, and we're about to get into the crypto update. But as I've always said, this is so much bigger than XRP pumping. This is so much bigger than a meme coin pump. This is so much bigger than let's get some gains, bro. No, yes, bro. Super excited because the revaluation, the reset will favor us. It will favor the bold. It will favor those of us that stood up, did our research. We didn't back down, and we made some bets. We had faith, conviction. We made an educated guess that, hey, we have a few things here taking place, and we have a shift and a rollover of the financial system amongst us. We positioned ourselves perfectly for this moment. The battle, though, not everyone's made it through this battle. And it still is going on. This is far from over. One of my takeaways with John Deaton, Stephen Nerayoff, is John Deaton say this is far from over. Talking about the Elizabeth Warrens of the world. But it looks like they're setting this thing up to go parabolic. And as we've always said, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin basically has a quasi-free pass. Ethereum has a very obvious free pass, right? I'm not going to stand in the way of that. It's like the old saying, don't fight the Fed. I'm not going to, I'm not trying to fight the SEC. I'm trying to defend we had to defend ourselves. Ripple had to spend $200 million in defense against our own government, even though we tried to go in and work with them. We tried to be in compliance. So the setup is to let Bitcoin and Ethereum go one more time. This is what you're already seeing underway. Bitcoin has really taken, the world by storm. It's this huge thing now, and it just continues to grow. Where the educated, where, those that understand utility end up going after they come to crypto and they maybe come into Bitcoin first, they go to Ethereum. And we're going to talk about Ethereum, how it's not decentralized, how it still sucks. Even if it was centralized, does it work good? No, it doesn't. Well, why should we update to this system that's not decentralized and doesn't even work good when we can use centralized systems that work just fine? And this is part of the setup right here is Bitcoin's getting ready to go with this spot ETF news. And it already has. I mean, it's up about 170% on the year since the lows of November last year. But what's taking place is very, very interesting right now. Take a look at this tweet, which Jason Williams has been one of these Bitcoin maxis who's been sharing kind of ominous tweets like this. I think trying to get aroused, trying to get his engagement. But for whatever reason, he's throwing this out. And I'm going to show you what Mike Novogratz is saying right now. There are a confluence of reasons that I won't get into now, but it appears that the next major Bitcoin uptrend, which will carry us into the year end, should start at some point tonight or tomorrow. Fasten your seatbelts, please. Time for takeoff. And this guy's tweet is not gospel. Let me be very clear about that. But what is interesting is that we also see Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz, who, as we've uncovered in the XRP community and uncovering this Ethereum free pass, Mike Novogratz has been on this the whole time. He was on Ethereum from the very, very early on, one of the biggest backers of Ethereum, and then openly talked about being against XRP and Ripple. Now he's come out and done a 360, and now he says the XRP army's for real. Ripple's an institution. They're not going away. They won. They're legit. And so now he's done a full 360 on XRP. But for him to come out now and feel confident enough to say that we're going to get an ETF approved before January 10th tells me that he's already getting the signal from the higher ups that this is a go here soon. And even if we don't get it by January, what's exciting is that it's coming probably by March, because that would be the ultimate deadlines for many of these ETF filings. January, we get more dates, more deadlines coming up. We get quite a few of them. But then after that, we get pushed out till about March. So as we get closer to that, I will show you guys who all we're going to be waiting to get an answer from. But in the meantime, we have these tweets that are going out. We have Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz, obvious insider, who is, talking his book, of course, got to pump his Bitcoin and Ethereum up. But he's saying that it's coming before January 10th. Massive, massive opportunity as we look at this digital asset space and how much it's going to grow. But sorry, not sorry, but we also got to expose and we got to clean this space up. See, the more that we clean this space up, the more money's coming in and the faster it's coming in. The money's not here yet because we don't have our crap together. That's why it's not here yet. We don't even know how to custody it. We don't even have standardized processes yet for it. That's all getting worked out. That's all getting set in place. And if the bankster shill politicians get their way, it's very clear where this goes. Huge shout out to Brad Kimes. By the way, XRP Las Vegas 2024 made 3rd and 4th. It's going down. At the MGM Grand, a huge shout out to Brad Kimes. It is going down. And I believe that the Chamber of Digital Commerce, Perry-Ann Boring, I think that she's speaking maybe. And then we've also lined up Christopher Giancarlo, former head of the CFTC. Folks, this is going to be a massive, massive deal. I can't wait. So I just had to plug that real quick. Brad Kimes is just my friend. I had such a blast with the community, getting together with everyone for XRP Vegas, and I can't wait to see you guys there. But huge shout out to Brad Kimes. He shares this one with us. We have exposed The Chamber of Digital Commerce exposes the American Banker Association, wrote Elizabeth Warren, ban crypto in America bill. If you're wondering who Elizabeth Warren was working for, you just got your answer, and it is not the people. This is the Chamber of Digital Commerce. Who could be so brazen as to write legislation that would effectively ban crypto? Senator Roger Marshall, the GOP frontman of the crypto ban bill, revealed the American Bankers Association wrote it. The banksters wrote it. Of course they did. This comes as no surprise to us. Let's listen in.
Senator Warren and I have authored the Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act that represents a step in the right direction. Again, I think that this is a light touch. The first thing we did is we went to the American Bank Association and said, help us craft this. And I don't know if you saw Senator Warren's hearing with Jamie Dimon yesterday, but Mr. Dimon said basically, in his opinion, crypto is only a tool for criminals. And I think that, again, it's that light touch by the federal government as opposed to a heavy touch as well. That's about all I know about crypto.
I appreciate the fact that he says that that's about all he knows about crypto is let me go listen to the banksters. I appreciate that honesty because that's the case for most of them. Let me go listen to my handlers. Let me go collect my check. Let me go to the fancy dinner and pretend like I'm saving the planet, saving the world, and I'm out here to really better humanity. Digital asset investor. Meet the U.S. senators who have joined Senator Warren in trying to ban crypto in the United States. He tags Perrianne, Digital Chamber. Almost 50 million Americans hold crypto. Urge them to reconsider their support. Do they really think that Senator Warren cares about re-elections? And he goes through here. We got a list. Roger Marshall on both sides of the aisle too, by the way. Joe Manchin, Lindsey Graham, big Rhino Republic. We called him out this weekend. That was one of my most recent live shows that we did, where we had to call out Lindsey Graham for being such a sellout. Gary Peters, Dick Durbin. Yep, the list goes on and on and on. Bob Casey, Richard Blumenthal, of course, the usual suspects. Oh, John Fetterman, of course, Carhartt sweatshirt, of course. Yeah, well, a man of the people, a man of the people. Yep, absolutely. What a joke. Warnock, of course. You see, and this is why us Americans are just sick. And we got 18 senators here. And this is why we continue to fight. Is because the United States used to have the capital markets gold standard. We used to have the gold standard of capital markets, and we should have the gold standard of digital asset market, digital assets as well. Unfortunately, obviously, the SEC wants to blanket everything as a security. They want to call Bitcoin good to go. Essentially say it's decentralized, it's good, not a security. They want to say that Ethereum is good to go, even though we're about to talk about Ethereum and how exposed Ethereum has been now through the most recent work that we've been able to put together over the last few years. And through the Ethereum whistleblower, Stephen Nerayoff, who made his first appearance, his first legitimate interview on the John Deaton show here today. Now, if you recall, I had Stephen Nerayoff in an unofficial conversation on a Twitter space, and that was a little over a month ago. That was a couple months ago now. Actually, time's been flying, but that's already been a couple months now. And Stephen Nerayoff just popped into, I think it was a Sunday space on Twitter. And he really started to, show where this was going. That's really what we were doing. We were hanging out with Stephen, and he was showing us where this was going. And this is when, I was able to ask him some point blank, straight up questions about Vitalik Buterin being such a little puppet. And, we were able to uncover what he was about to expose. Since then, he has dropped the recording with Vitalik. He has also dropped additional content. And now he's recorded his first interview with John Deaton. And I believe that they have already filed his lawsuit as well. He appeared part of the way through the interview. Michael Scotto, his lawyer, appeared when they talked about Stephen getting arrested and charged with extortion. So I'm just trying to provide a little context on Stephen for those who don't know, but many of you guys have been following this. So I just wanted to lay the premise before I share some of the things that he said, that he shared in this interview today with John Deaton. It was must-see TV. I listened to it a second time through here just before I was getting live here tonight. Now, my key takeaways. They had an opinion, but they never were in compliance with that legal opinion. See, when you have a question, especially on securities, and we've had to do this recently, actually, as we look at some deals, and we've gotten received official opinions on, businesses, opportunities, investments. And if you want to do securities, right, you have to understand the laws are very clear. They've been on the books for decades. Now, what they were trying to do with Ethereum was something new. And you had Stephen Nerayoff along with this other this other law firm that got Joseph Lubin the paper. So Stephen Nerayoff helped provide the analysis to the law firm. And then the law firm came and said, okay, here's our opinion on how you make this decentralized and not an unregistered securities offering and how you do things the proper way. That was the official legal opinion that they received, but they never have been in compliance of that opinion. So think about and I'm just going to go right to it. I really believe that they've been completely compromised. They've been bought and paid for, and they are controlled and potentially even blackmailed to the point of the SEC could pull that legal memo, that official opinion that they received, that paper that Joseph Lubin got, that official legal memo. They never were in compliance with it. You can record it through on-chain data, and then we also have them just through Joseph Lubin's big fat mouth. And I appreciate John Deaton and I respect him for saying that he's just got an allegiance to the truth. He actually holds Ethereum. And I'm not here to take out any crypto project. I just want a level playing field, and I want us to have the gold standard of the digital asset markets in relation to having the gold standard of capital markets as well. They had an official opinion. They never were in compliance. They were supposed to issue another 60 million Ethereum and distribute it out to the miners to make it more decentralized because they did a pre-mint or a pre-mine. Remember, there was 60 million Ethereum pre-mined, to which they gave to themselves and a few insiders, few whales that they covered up. They tried to cover up their tracks. And that was another piece of evidence, was a recording of Joseph Lubin that Stephen Nerayoff dropped just a couple of days ago that talks about Joseph Lubin wanting to just cover up the tracks of the past 90 days and before that. And how the Ethereum Foundation basically needs to do what you can do with blockchain, where you just kind of erase the past. They only sold half of that 60 million, or distributed half of that 60 million that they were supposed to. Some 20, maybe 30 million of Ethereum that they were divvying out. So just by that fact, they never were in compliance or followed through with what the official legal opinion that they received was. That can be used against them in the court of law by the SEC. You see? Now, once again, are they ever going to go after Ethereum? Probably not. Or maybe they're going to let Ethereum go one more time. It looks to me like they're going to let it go one more time. There's so many dang tokens created on this thing that it's just, it's siphoning off. And just like Bitcoin, those fees are going to go up. And through proof of stake, Ethereum 2.0, it's become even more centralized. And so those stakeholders are going to reap the rewards from the fact that they let the token factory go on this long. It's going to go on through this next bear market. And you're already seeing all the meme coins go. I went to buy a meme coin and it was going to cost me $30 in gas fees. The only reason why I had like $50 worth of Ethereum in a wallet was because I received some NFTs for free and I had to buy $100 worth of Ethereum to be able to move to receive free NFTs. I went to go buy a meme coin and I couldn't even afford to buy a meme coin. I was going to pay $30 in gas fees and get $10 of a token. I was like, oh, okay, I'm just not even going to waste my time. This is a complete joke. And I would feel ashamed of myself for participating in such a joke of a system. not to mention the corruption that we've now uncovered as well. Steven Nerayoff dropping the bombshell. The absolute bombshell tonight was that the MakerDAO hack was an inside job. Now, I had to look this back up myself because I'd kind of forgotten the facts of this case. Folks, are you kidding me? The whole thing was an inside job, and now we have the whistleblower, Steven Nerayoff, who just keeps on singing. The hits just keep on coming. Santiago Veliz responds. He says, burn it all down. Speaker claims the Ethereum DAO hack was an inside job from key wallet holders of the Ethereum organization. And remember, Steven Nerayoff has been working with our good friend Blaine Sleuth. They've been working with some of the other on-chain analysis experts, and what we have is a community effort backing up Steven Nerayoff, what he was seeing, in these meetings, in these conversations, and the deals that he was a part of. It's all coming together. The EVM is the only thing of legitimate value for me. Don't forget to take the cannoli. And you know what's so funny about that comment is that we got the EVM sidechain coming to the XRP ledger. So, whatever we can bring of value, which is basically the EVM, the EVM code, the smart contract code for the Ethereum virtual machine, you can now come settle it on the EVM sidechain, settle it with XRP, and not have to pay $20-$30 in gas fees. Now, this is it right here. Wheezy clipped it up for us. He says, holy poop emoji. Steven Nerayoff drops an atom bomb. The DAO hack was an inside job. Folks, listen in here closely.
I'm going to drop a bombshell right now, and I'm going to make a statement, and it's what we discovered as we kind of tripped into this. But the famous DAO hack, which Bill Hinman was the first thing that he did when he got there. He wrote the DAO report to kind of cover over the whole DAO incident. That DAO hack was an inside job by members of the Ethereum Foundation, and whoever was controlling the Bitcoin wallet from the ICO is directly implicated, but it had to involve quite a number of people. And so there was no DAO hack. That was a complete inside job, and they benefited from it in a whole host of different ways.
Can you, again, this is news to me. Can you prove this through on-chain? Yes. Kind of analysis instead of just subjective, circumstantial evidence?
That's not my opinion. I mean, that's the beauty of blockchain. I mean, it's not my opinion. You can look at the wallets. You can see, I'll give you one example. One of the wallets that's connected to, I'm not going to make any individual accusations on this first show, right? But one of the wallets that's connected to a certain individual actually communicated with the hacker's wallet, 10 days before. And another one of the individuals at the Ethereum Foundation, set up the contract for the hack and set up, the wallets. So, that's none of that makes any sense. There's a lot more. I mean, I'm just giving you some anecdotal stuff that absolutely doesn't make any sense. So, there's a ton more than that.
Are you kidding me? Now, I had to go back and look this thing up because I remember this taking place, but I wanted to have the facts in front of me. So this was launched in 2016. The DAO was an early decentralized autonomous organization, which is what a DAO is. There's been many DAOs now created, right? And it was intended to act as an investor-directed venture capital firm. Lauded as a revolutionary project, the DAO raised $150 million worth of Ether and was one of the earliest crowdfunding efforts in high-profile projects built on the Ethereum blockchain. This was set to be revolutionary, which at the time was only 1 year old. Less than 3 months after its launch, though, the DAO was hacked and 60 million of Ether was stolen. The Ethereum blockchain on which the DAO was built was later controversial forked to restore the stolen funds, which were returned to investors. They rolled back the blockchain. I forgot about this. I'm so glad that Steven brought this up and that he was able to share, as many have suggested, but now he has on-chain data to go with what he was seeing as well, what he experienced. And 100%, it makes sense now, right? we were wondering what took place. This was a record hack at the time. Such a massive deal. And what took place was this huge token sale, 150 million for more than 11,000 investors that just piled into this thing. But they were worried that there was a bug in the smart contracts, but they just pushed through. See, this is why I keep on saying I'm so glad that the XRP Ledger developers are taking their time, methodically going through any amendments or updates to the XRP Ledger, making sure that they're not going to break this thing, create vulnerabilities, and bust up the whole thing so that we got to rewind it back. And so this was very controversial at the time, okay? And they wanted to do a soft fork. Initially, Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin proposed a soft fork of the Ethereum network, adding a snippet of code that would effectively blacklist the attacker and prevent them from moving the stolen funds. However, the hacker, or someone who posed as the hacker, started publishing here on the Ethereum community page and this whole thing. They started to threaten and say that they were going to bribe the miners if they tried to do a soft fork. The hacker was saying, we're going to bribe the miners and we're not going to let this go through. And they tried to say that they collected these funds in the legal way, which that doesn't even make sense to me. But then eventually they proposed a hard fork. And so they proposed this hard fork, which effectively rolled back the Ethereum's network history to before the DAO attack and reallocated the DAO's Ether to a different smart contract so that investors could withdraw their funds. This was extremely controversial. After all, blockchains are supposed to be immutable and censorship resistant. Censorship resistant. It was initially unclear as to whether the fork would be executed, though it was proposed by Ethereum developers. They did not have the unilateral power to implement the change. Miners, exchanges, and node operators also had to agree to update their software. After more heated public debate on July 20th, 2016 at block 192,000, the Ethereum hard fork was implemented. Now, those who refused to accept the hard fork that rolled back the blockchain's history supported the pre-forked version, now known as Ethereum Classic. The blockchain presently known as Ethereum is the blockchain that implemented the hard fork and altered the blockchain's history and the history of the blockchain as a whole. So this is where Ethereum Classic comes from. The original, the pure Ethereum. Has Ethereum ever been pure? And has it ever been decentralized? Because this is just another example, right? This whole thing, this whole lie of it being decentralized. They act like they had it, like it was that difficult to go to the miners, the exchanges, and the node operators. Remember, we were one of few accounts, in the XRP community. We always looked at Bitcoin and Ether and wow, a lot of centralization of the mining that was taking place in China at the time. This was before China banned the mining. 4 large mining pools did over 60% of the Bitcoin mining. And then basically 6 large mining pools did some 80% of Ethereum. So it wasn't that hard to go to the miners and the validators and the exchanges and roll it back, right? And most did, some didn't. There's your Ethereum Classic. But this is a bombshell that Steven dropped here today. Is mainstream crypto going to pick up on it? Still waiting for them to. Still waiting for them to cover this or get Steven on their show, right? Everybody acts like they care about transparency and creating, real utility and killer dApps. And that's what the whole Ethereum story was about, as Steven Nerayoff shared in this interview. It was all going to be about utility and dApps, but every chance that they had, every opportunity to make it about that, they instead did the complete opposite and made it about packing the bags of Joseph Lubin and the early insider whales. So let's run through it. They had an official opinion, but they never were in compliance with the official legal opinion that Steven Nerayoff helped them get. Steven did the analysis. He did all the legwork. He handed it over to the lawyers. He cut them a check for $10,000. That was one of the pieces of evidence that Steven, has in his case, was a check for $10,000 because he had to personally guarantee it. The law firm, this is a joke. This is how immature these crypto guys were. Joseph Lubin was supposed to be the adult, is what Steven said. Well, we know how that goes. They didn't trust anybody at Ethereum, So the law firm said, no, Steven, you're going to make a personal guarantee. You're going to cut us a check for $10,000. And then the legal fees ended up racking up, I think, well over six figures, to which the Ethereum Foundation did pay. But the law firm didn't even trust Ethereum to pay up. They're like, you little crypto guys, about to run up a six-figure legal bill. We're going to make sure you pay up front. And so they made Steven cut that check for $10,000. They never were in compliance. They never followed through. They never did what they were supposed to do to make it decentralized and to make it not an unregistered security. They only sold half of what they were supposed to. Or I don't know if they were selling that or just divvying it out. I'm going to have to go back and listen. But basically, they had pre-mined 60 million, and so they were supposed to issue another 60 million. And I don't know if they were supposed to sell or they were supposed to give, but they were supposed to distribute another 60 million to basically make it so, it was leveled out. It was even. They never did that. They only did about half that. MakerDAO was an inside job. If that is true, you're talking about a whole nother level that this whole thing goes. To not just creating a token factory where, hey, we're going to let scammers take advantage of this platform and technology. We're going to let all these people lose a bunch of money. Hardworking people just get rug pulled and scammed time after time again. We're just going to let this take place because our bags are getting packed, which is exactly what's taking place right now. Once again, as we enter this next bull run, meme coins are already pumping off. These coins have been running up. And then you go to sell back out into Avalanche, into Ethereum, and it's costing you $30 in gas fees. To play a video game on a Ethereum layer 2, it's costing you $50 to exit out of Gala Games. For me to receive NFTs for free, I had to load up about $100 worth of Ethereum to pay in gas fees to receive NFTs for free. Who all benefits from this? The Ethereum whales, the stakeholders. And just like I said with the mining that was taking place, the centralized mining out of China, when they banned it, my hope for Bitcoin and Ethereum was, okay, guys, now you have an opportunity to distribute the miners, to decentralize the network. Is that what happened? No. Ethereum moved to 2.0 proof of stake. Network became even more centralized. And with Bitcoin, now we have two large mining pools that do over 51% of the network. So instead of 4 mining pools that do 60% in China, we went to 2 large mining pools out of the United States. That's fine though, because our grid doesn't have any problems. Our grid's good to go, isn't it? That proof of work system, that's yeah. And who's benefiting off that? Off the $30 and $40 Bitcoin mining fees? The Bitcoin miners. Now, the final point, the big takeaway from the Steven Nerayoff, John Dean interview that I wanted to share was that the SEC claimed that they had no part. They claimed that they had no part, even though they have collected a ridiculous amount of evidence and documents on Steven Nerayoff. Take a listen in on this one. Wheezy comments and says, why would the SEC need and receive so much personal information illegally from citizens if it was not involved in the lawsuit? I've got a feeling that there were Ethereum rats handing over stuff. The SEC dips to new lows, and it's not surprising. It's absolutely not. And we tag Vitalik Buterin. We tag Ethereum Joseph Lubin. Where are those guys? Have we seen them lately? We better do a quick vibe check on Vitalik. Hope he's doing well. And as Wheezy suggests here, the SEC, along with our federal government, and as Steven Nerayoff explained in his story, this was a scene out of the Blacklist. For those of you guys who don't know, Steven Nerayoff, they busted down his door at 5 a.m. They took him out of his house. They put him in a van. A scene out of a movie. If you've seen the show The Blacklist, that's what this was. And they put a list in front of him and said, you better share some stories on this list, on these people, and give us some details and maybe rat on some of these people, or you're not going to see your kids grow up. This is how our government starts negotiations. Do you understand why we have insurance policies in place? Do you understand why the XRP buyback was never about a buyback? It was about starting negotiations by saying, we're watching you. We know you're bust and bankrupt and corrupt, and we've exposed all of you guys. And now we have a whistleblower, and the damages were massive. Now, this is where they start negotiations. They round you up in the middle of the night, they throw you in a van, and threaten you that you're not going to see your children grow up. That's what's at stake right now. And meanwhile, crypto bros want to make a little money with their allowance money. Let's pump a meme coin. This is so much bigger. Okay. And yeah, we're gonna have plenty of gains to be had. We'll have a great time. And we'll be doing it with legitimate utility, legitimately bringing value to the world. Great businesses that really push humanity forward using this technology. That's what we're going to do. We will benefit from that. This is corrupt through and through. And the SEC clearly was watching all of these players. But as Stephen Nerayoff says, on some of them, they just asked Stephen for information as if they were already working with them. They were already working with the government. Now, we've talked about this. I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to throw anything around, but we've talked about this in our community about how these some of the biggest players in this space are hand in hand with the JP Morgans of the world and the government, the SEC, and others. And that was the whole Stephen Nerayoff story, is they set him up. They had basically a Fed informant come in and basically ripped him off, took him to town. He was a lifelong con man who flipped and started working with the feds. They implanted him next to Stephen Nerayoff, and then they basically painted a case with the FBI and the Department of Justice that was completely fabricated, saying that he was trying to go around and extort crypto projects. Stephen Nerayoff, they shared a clip with John Deaton, and that's why I love it was so perfect that John did this first interview with Stephen, because he brought up actual court filings. And he played a recording of Stephen Nerayoff trying to turn down more digital assets than what he had originally asked for. And with Ethereum, he completely turned it down. He didn't participate in the ICO, and he didn't even want to be reimbursed for the hundreds of thousands of dollars of his own money that he spent. He wanted no conflict of interest. And he never cooperated with him because he knew he had the truth on his side. See, guys, this is a true patriot that's exposing the three-letter agency bureaucracy beast. This is why I get so excited about this, and I stand behind him. I ask God to protect him. May he go expose everything that needs to be exposed in the United States court of law, and may he be completely vindicated, let all truth be revealed. And if it just so happens that we've exposed Ethereum, then that's part of cleaning up crypto. Then that's part of cleaning up and restoring and making sure that the United States has the gold standard of capital markets. Then let's expand out from that. Let's save our country while we're at it. Stephen Nerayoff comments on the SEC and how much information they were collecting on him. Stuart, I see you with the 50 spot. Zach, keeping us on track. Stuart, I appreciate you, brother. Absolutely. Let's listen and hear what Stephen Nerayoff. Thank you so much for the support, brother. Much love, Stuart.
Steve, you've made comments on social media that in multi-agency cooperation, you said the SEC is implicated in your arrest. I want to show Exhibit 13, where this is a discovery request, and the Department of Justice basically says that employees and agents of the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission were not part of the prosecution team, which rebuts what you're claiming, right? You're claiming that the SEC is involved, and they're like, hey, they're not part of the prosecution team. So I understand that you did something smart next, and you sent a FOIA request to the SEC, and here it is. And even though they weren't part of the prosecution team, they say they got 14 gigabytes of data on you, 112 boxes of records. And we're talking, just so people know, if it's a banker's box, then it fits 2,500 pages per box. I know that just from my civil litigation practice. And 112 boxes would equal 280,000 8x11 pages of documents and evidence. And so I know the DOJ said that the SEC is not involved, but the SEC has. Why does the SEC have 14 gigabytes and 280,000 pages of documents on you, Steve? Were you ever investigated by the SEC? Were you part of an enforcement action? Why so much data on you?
I have no idea. I mean, there is no explanation, and what they said was, well, in 3 years we'll consider your request, and then it was basically they denied it. So we are filing suit to compel them to give it, and under the Privacy Act, they're not allowed to get personally identifiable information about me from the DOJ. But what we've pieced together, and it's beyond the scope of this right now, but we pieced together, they not only, I wouldn't say they were just part of the prosecution team, they were directing the entire prosecution from the SEC. It's the same group, Hinman, Berger, these, Valerie, and they placed somebody in the Eastern District of New York where I was getting prosecuted from the SEC. They were really calling the shots. It was very clear.
Hinman, that's Bill Hinman, Mark Berger, and Valerie Shishpinik. I probably butchered that name, but absolutely. That's from the SEC, and like you said, they shifted someone over there to that Eastern District in New York where he was getting charged. And this is, once again, straight out of a Netflix movie. I can't wait to watch this Netflix documentary on Stephen's story. And I wanted to read off this comment from XRP Shaman. I was reading you guys' comments, and I'll take some Q&A after we finish this. I just have a couple more things to share with you guys, but I will take some Q&A, so drop your comments down below. XRP Shaman says, why Zach is so good is because he was awake before he started his investment into crypto. Shaman, you're so right. I appreciate that comment. This started back in about 2012 for me, when I started to understand what the Federal Reserve was, when Ron Paul was running for president off of a platform of End the Fed. We talking about right now exposing the three-letter agencies. Well, this started for me. I should be holding up my End the Fed book because this is where this really started. Now we got our red folder. That's the damages done to the XRP community. But remember, I picked up my green folder. I had to get another folder. This is for the Ethereum Free Pass. And so I've already added the transcript from the Vitalik Buterin, Stephen Nerayoff call. I added that transcript. I'm going to be going to this interview with John Deaton and Stephen Nerayoff. I'll probably listen to it for a third time. And I'm going to print off some of these exhibits, and we'll be adding that to the green folder as well. And Shaman, I appreciate that. The context for me is I've been in this fight for about 10 years now. When I was in high school, I started to wake up and say, what the heck is going on? Back in 2012, I realized that they were lying to us and that this whole thing was one big Ponzi scheme. Backed by the largest military known to man, who at the time, a decade of war in the Middle East, trillions of dollars spent, and here we are, fast forward to 2020, we're just now finishing that up. We've now taken things to levels that we never thought. We never thought they'd be able to kick the can this far down the road. But we also, at the time, I didn't realize how corrupt they were. That's what we've been exposing as of late. And once again, I'm not here to take down Bitcoin. I'm not here to take down Ethereum. But may the best tech win. May the best companies win. Let's just get that level playing field. But it's just very clear, right? And this is part of cleaning up the crypto space. We have to have these conversations. Stephen Nerayoff has really put this thing together, and I think that he has a lot more too. Along with the sleuths, this combination is a match made in heaven for saving our country. And that's where I try to get to is, what documents can I print out when it comes to making an investment? Can I print out some documents that include Ripple, XRP, that include partnerships, adoption, real deals getting done? Can I print that out and hold it in my hand? And with this corruption that we've exposed to, we have the exhibits, we have the documents, we have the contracts, we have the check. Where Stephen Nerayoff, we have the clip. Stephen Nerayoff next to Vitalik Buterin, they played a clip. where Steven's on a round table, a little fireside chat with Vitalik Buterin with him, and he says, remember when you were my little roommate? He didn't say it that way, but he said, remember when we were roommates, little buddy? When I took care of you? You know, hanging out in New York? And every few weeks, Joseph Lubin would welcome you? You know, he'd come on down to stay in New York to work with Joseph Lubin and the gang, getting things going. Little Vitalik, such a good little puppet boy. Just a genius. I'm sure Vitalik is, he's a little, you know, he might even be a part alien or something. He's a little something. They programmed him. They dialed him in, didn't they? They did something with him. He's a genius. And as we uncovered with Steven Nerayoff's, the 3-hour recording that he played, that was Steven saying, you know, trying to help him out as a friend. Hey, you're a young kid. You've created this monster, you know, this world-changing technology. You really got something going after you weren't able to get on at Ripple. We should add that fact. That Vitalik tried to be an intern at Ripple, but he was denied a visa. But obviously, you know, he was denied the visa, but he was able to still get access, fly into New York, stay on Steven's couch while they got Ethereum going. That's what he did after he got his internship and visa denied to join Ripple. So Vitalik gets this whole thing going with Joseph Lubin, and now we uncover the backing. And the backing was not just from Wall Street, but it also was from the SEC and the three-letter agencies involved. And what they've done is they've created this whole honeypot in the cryptocurrency space. You have to understand, there's a lot of influencers, little TikTok shows, little, you know, a lot of YouTubers, just a lot of shows in this crypto space that thought that they were going to get away with this, that thought that, that they could just skirt the law, that they could just be oblivious. And as Steven Nerayoff said in what the interview here today, they all just said, oh, I live in Canada. I live in another country. They don't understand that if you get access to American citizens, they've extended their jurisdiction out. That's already been proven in court. Nobody understood that. Steven was trying to tell them that. Nobody wanted to listen. Everybody just wanted to, oh gosh, I want to say so much. Everyone just wanted to take party favors and hang out with Joseph Lubin and have a good time, and everybody could, dress like unicorns and do a little dance and get rich. That's what they were doing. The Netflix documentary on the Ethereum Foundation, I mean, the good one, if someone ever makes the good one on what really took place, I mean, it's going to be pretty epic. Steven Nerayoff is a patriot. He put himself in this situation of trying to help out the project. He was trying to help out Vitalik as a friend, trying to do the right thing. And now they completely backstab him essentially and try to disconnect and push themselves away from Steven Nerayoff after this whole thing goes down. And he gets charged, even though now he's been completely vindicated. Now he's trying to go after them, and now everybody's running. And I noticed this right from the get-go. I was in the Mario Nafal space, the Twitter space, the first one that he showed up. After he started to really come back on the scene here, and that was the first space when he showed up. The amount of people that dipped out of that space when Steven showed up said enough. Now, Rand Nooner was one of those characters, and interesting enough, BitBoy Crypto was calling out Rand this morning. I cannot confirm nor deny that, and BitBoy has just been an absolute crap show. It's been it's been unbelievable. But anyways, this is part of cleaning up the crypto space, this whole story, right? And as you see, the Netflix documentaries are going to be epic. It's going to be a good time to watch those. But I hope that we can watch and enjoy those Netflix documentaries after we've uncovered and held every government official accountable who stood and watched this all get done. Who stood by and watched as, the capital markets in the United States get held hostage here by Gary Gensler. Who signed on with Elizabeth, I got a plan for you, Warren, with her crypto crackdown. And for me, we're in the fight to expose all that corruption to save our country. But on the other side, we picked the winning horse that is not just built for utility, for victory, speed, efficiency, and getting something actually done. But we have one of the best jockeys as well, which would be the company Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, and the full team. I'm going to share a thread here after I read off the super chats. We got a couple more. Stuart dropped the one. Appreciate that, Stuart. And then did I see Chris Doe dropped a 5 spot? Zach, one of your best exposures. Merry Christmas to all Ripplers and XRP. I appreciate you, brother. I really do appreciate that. Thank you for the love. This is what I wanted to show you what's taking place here on the other side. We found ourselves with an XRP Ripple opportunity along with the developers on the XRP ledger as well. But when you see what Ripple has predicting for 2024, it's getting me a little bit excited for what's coming. I know a lot of people are disappointed with XRP price right now. Look and listen to what Ripple's been doing and what they've been saying, and they're not backing down. There's no loss of conviction or faith over there. Wrath of Kahneman. Don't miss this important statement from Monica Long, who is the president of Ripple. This thread, the biggest breakthrough in 2024 will be pioneering compliance for decentralized finance. This is ostensibly Ripple's 2024 direction. If so, it will be the fruition of the license and custody efforts. It's also good context for the development of the AMM, which he actually did a typo here, I believe. The AMM is actually XLS 30D. XLS 38D is for the cross-chain bridge. And so AMM is XLS 30D. But nonetheless, it's also good context for the development of the AMM, XLS 30, XLS 30D, 38D is just going to bring more utility as well. Just like we talked about with the EVM sidechain, once you have XLS 38D, we can have interoperability with any ledger you would like. And would include XRP, and he asked, does it synergize with all of the CBDC efforts as well? Here's the 2024 predictions. Ripple just keeps on dropping them. This one from Monica Long, president at Ripple. We've asked leaders at Ripple to weigh in on what they think 2024 holds. Today, we continue with Monica Long. In 2024, crypto will break the speculative hype cycles that have defined the booms and busts for the industry since Bitcoin's invention. Before the next crypto summer, we as an industry will break the cycle. Well, okay, we're going to have another crypto summer, are we? Sounds like a good time to me. I'll see you guys at XRP Vegas. We as an industry will break the cycle by, I wonder if Brad Garlinghouse will be showing up for the crypto summer party at XRP Vegas once again. Yeah, he snuck in there to he snuck into the party there, Brad Garlinghouse did. Huge shout to Brad. We as an industry will break the cycle by paving the foundation for real-world utility at scale, which entails solving for compliance, usability, and integration with existing systems. The biggest breakthrough in 2024 will be pioneering compliance for decentralized finance. This crypto winter is, in fact, a great season for serious builders, especially those who modernizing the world's financial infrastructure with blockchain is inevitable, to work on solving serious real-world problems. Compliance and transparency. In 2024, it's not enough to be compliance conscious. The industry must be compliance first to keep our customers and users safe. I wonder, has that been the motto at Ethereum? Compliance first? Have they even been compliance conscious? Or, as we've just exposed with Steven Nerayoff, they completely dismissed it. They took no consideration other than to read the opinion, and as long as they could go on stage and Joseph Lubin could, flap his lips and scratch his elbow, which back when he was, flapping his lips and everything was good, he had the paper in his pocket. He wasn't scratching his elbow because he was pretty dang comfortable. Now, every time Joseph Lubin comes on stage and makes has to ask and answer the tough questions, he's scratching at that elbow, isn't he? Now, it's not enough to be compliance conscious. The industry needs to be compliance first to keep our customers and users safe. Gaining back the trust we've lost following the serious, some of the major industry blowback. The industry needs to build compliance tooling, integration. Within the past couple of years, we've seen many more traditional financial players such as Fidelity, BlackRock, PayPal, and Visa integrating or partnering with crypto-native companies to offer crypto and blockchain services and products. The way forward is a happy marriage. Blockchain will not replace banks. The ability to settle payments instantly across borders without the need for a middleman charging exorbitant fees has benefits for both merchants and consumers alike, and crypto can provide this unparalleled utility for institutions. Greater usability. Most of the companies that we work with at Ripple love the benefits that they get from crypto, but ultimately don't want to be experts in it. They just want it to work. A crypto revolution cannot require billions of people to self-custody their assets, secure their secret keys, and trade on decentralized exchanges. We've reached the tipping point for crypto to be recognized as mainstream, but we have yet to hit the breakout moment where institutional adoption for real-world utility takes off. 2024 can be that moment as long as we proceed with a compliance-first mindset. And let's go set the standard. That's what Ripple is doing. They're using XRP to do so, and it is an amazing time. What a world we live in. Let's be the change. Cheers. I appreciate that. 589, Shane. Much love, brother. Absolutely. An amazing time to be alive if we lean into this transparency, truth, and we actually use this technology to benefit humanity. This is a beautiful time to be alive. But what do they have in store for us? Well, we've been covering that right from the very beginning of this episode. World War III events taking place, about a dozen other black swan scenarios that we are facing right now. We don't need to pick out which black swan scenario it's going to be. We just need to prepare. We need to prepare with blackout barter. I have cash. I have silver. When I've made investments, I've been looking right now at digital assets. And what I look at next, where I look at my next move is private equity and is going to be real estate. Right now, we're conducting due diligence on deals as we speak. We're doing valuations on private equity companies as we speak. Right now, my goal is to build out a platform for educational content to service our community and all the new people that will be coming on board. And a huge shout out to our community members in the private group who help others. They don't just come in to absorb and take in information, but this is where the power of a real mastermind community comes from. I don't really call my community a mastermind, but it is. And the power comes from a community where everybody participates and engages. And so it's not just me that has to help every new person move some money around in a wallet. We have team members, we have folks that have stepped up within our community. And you guys here, even on YouTube, just sharing out the message, sharing it out to family members, friends, those that you care about, getting out this message. And God willing, we can save this country and take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. A huge, massive 100 spot from Robert. Robert, I appreciate you, brother. He says, happy holidays, Zach. Thanks for all you do. In the end, God and good wins. Celebrate the first super chat with Robert Greenwood. Robert, I appreciate you. Much love, brother. That is absolutely massive. You guys know my deal. I don't get, my checks don't come from little ERC20 tokens. And they pay me a little checky check to do a little dealy deal and make a little ticky tock and dump on my community. Never have I done that. Never have I taken a sponsorship check, period. I am leaving a lot of money on the table doing that. But I don't want a conflict of interest when I try to bring the truth to you guys. And I literally talk my book. Unlike all these other guys that go on CNBC and, you know, they're trying to shill a position that they're in, that they're trying to find exit liquidity for. I've been very clear about what I hold, where I'm at. You guys know, I just keep it transparent and I keep it real. And I don't take any of these little checks from these little guys. Or even the big checks from the big boys. I don't do any of it. Any of it. My mission is pure. All of our community resources are at my website, zachrector.com. We're running a discount for LEPAL wallets. You guys saw the ledger issues. You guys have concerns about wallets. You want some other options. We have LEPAL. We have Trezor. Use discount code WEALTH, all caps, WEALTH for LEPAL. Save 10%. And then for Trezor, they've just done a permanent price drop. We like both of those wallets because you can actually hold XDC and some of these other cryptos that we like that you can't hold on Ledger and some of these others. The other special that we're running right now through the end of the year, if you want to get tapped in with our community of like-minded individuals, We are running a special right now on Patreon, 13% off your annual membership. You save 13%, sign up for a year, and get tapped in with our community. We do weekly calls every week, tactical wealth lessons, business development content, real estate sessions, and we also do sessions talking about prepping. We do hangout calls. We're doing meetups. We already got 3 meetups planned for this coming year. Do I have anything else to share? That's it. Oh, for the community, the reason why I have that link down below. If you're new to Link2, you want to get some private equity, they're one of the companies that's doing a deal that I respect. I respect what they're doing at Link2. So I put my affiliate link down below so that you guys can receive $500 towards your first investment if you're new to Link2. If you're already with Link2, the link doesn't really get you anything. But if you're new to Link2, you're an accredited investor, you can use my link and you'll get $500 towards your first investment. That's all I got for tonight, folks. John Deaton, Stephen Nerayoff, helping us expose it all. Let all truth be revealed. And God willing, we can not just save the United States of America, but we can save and create a level playing field opportunity for all of humanity. That's what we're here to do. If you appreciate what we do, please like this video. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. And all I ask is that you just share this one out far and wide. I will see you guys tomorrow. God bless you all. Have a fantastic night. Thank you. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. I almost missed you. XR Peaky, my brother. Big 20 spot. I don't know much, but I know that I know Forrest Gump and Jenny are like XR peas and carrots again. Merry Christmas, everyone. Peaky, we love you, brother. Always love you in the chat. Yeah. Much love to all you guys. We'll see ya.